Okay. Hey y'all. I know it's weird as hell seeing my face. It's weird. I'm trying to figure out where I can set this up. How heavy is this table? Oh gosh, that's too heavy. So I decided that I was going to read Rich Dad Poor Dad because I haven't been motivated. Like I used to make YouTube videos all the time. Wait, let me see what looks better. It looks smarter if I have these on. But I don't know. I used to make YouTube videos all the time. I used to just be so happy. I used to be myself. So I went to the store. I meant not the store, the library today. I got this book. I got a few starting your own business books. I got a book on teaching me how to learn French, and also a book of like a thesaurus, like a smart thesaurus. See, I sound stupid, but a thesaurus where like you would replace the word like with a more intelligent. Yeah, see, look at that word. This is so heavy, but oh my gosh, I'm not even wasting my time here. Okay. Should I sit on the ground? You know? I think I'm actually do that. Let's see how that looks. Because it's like, oh, or maybe have like the nature in the background. Oh, that's nice. Okay, that's what we're gonna do. All right, so that's what we're gonna do. I don't know if you've ever seen that. Oh, I'm scuffing up the shoes. Scuffing. Just straight scuffing. I recently hurt myself, so my back hurts super bad. So I'm not gonna sit like that. Ugh. But now I look fat. So this is what I'm talking about. Things like this. All right, so let's get back to it. We're only in the intro right now, so let's see. Where are we at? Okay, here we are. One lets you off the hook, and the other forces you to think. My soon-to-be rich dad would explain that by automatically saying the words, "I can't afford it," your brain stops working. By asking the question, "How can I afford it?" your brain is put into work. It is work. He did not mean that you should buy everything you want. He was fanatical about exercising your mind, the most powerful computer in the world, which is true. Hello. He'd say, "My brain gets stronger every day because I exercise it. The stronger it gets, the more money I can make." Oh my gosh. I'm already learning and like the intro. The more money I can make. He believed that automatically saying, "I can't afford it," was a sign of mental laziness. Although both dads worked hard, I noticed that one dad had a habit of putting his brain to sleep when it came to finances, and the other had a habit of exercising his brain. True. The long-term result was that one dad grew stronger financially and the other grew weaker. It is not much different from a person who goes to the gym to exercise on a regular basis versus someone who sits on the couch watching television. Proper physical exercise increases your chances for health, and proper mental exercise increases your chances for wealth. Let me get that tatted. My two dads had opposing attitudes, and that affected the way they thought. One dad thought that the rich should pay more in taxes, which that's kind of like how I grew up, so that's probably why I'm broke. To take care of those less fortunate. The other, oh my god. Sorry, it was an ant. The other said taxes punish people. Punish those who produce and reward those who don't produce. One dad recommended study hard so you can find a good company to work for. The other recommended study hard so you can find a good company to buy. That's the key there. One dad said, "The reason I'm not rich is because I have you kids." The other said, "The reason I must be rich is because I have you kids." One encouraged talking about money and business at the dinner table, while the other forbade the subject of money to be discussed over a meal. One said, "When it comes to money, play it safe. Don't take risks." The other said, "Learn to manage risk." One believed our home is our largest investment and our greatest asset, and the other believed my house is a liability, and if your house is your largest investment, you're in trouble. Both get away. Sorry. Both dads paid their bills on time, yet one paid his bills first while the other paid his bills last. One dad believed in a company or the government to take care of you and your needs. He was always concerned about pay raises, retirement plans, medical benefits, sick leave, vacation days, and other perks. He was very impressed with two of his uncles who joined the military and earned a retirement and entitlement package for life after 20 years of active service. Sometimes that's bullcrap. I'm just going to throw that out there. Sometimes it's bullcrap. He loved the idea of medical benefits and PX privileges the military provided its retirees. He also loved the tenors. I had a brain fart. Tenor system available through the university. The idea of job protection for life and job benefits seemed more important at times than the job. He would often say, "I've worked hard for the government and I'm entitled to these benefits." The other believed in total financial self-reliance. He spoke out against the entitlement mentality and how it created weak and financially needy people. He was empathetic about being financially competent. One dad struggled to save a few dollars. The other created investments. One dad taught me how to write an impressive resume so I can find a good job. The other taught me how to write strong business and financial plans so I can create jobs. That's what I'm trying to do right now. I'm not gonna lie. Being a product of two strong dads allowed me the luxury. Now that I'm thinking about it, can y'all hear me? Like, am I muted? No, I'm not. Okay, sorry. Being a product of two strong dads allowed me the luxury of observing the effects different thoughts have on one's life. I noticed that people really do shape their lives through their thoughts. For example, my poor dad always said, "I'll never be rich," and that prophecy became reality. My rich dad, on the other hand, always referred to himself as rich. He would say things like, "I'm a rich man, and rich people don't do this," even when he was flat broke. After a major financial setback, he continued to refer to himself as a rich man. He would cover himself by saying, "There's a difference between being poor and being broke. Broke is temporary, poor is eternal." I'm loving this book so far. I don't know about y'all, but I'm loving this book. I feel like my nose looks fucking huge. Rich gang. No. I'm gonna just put these back on. I don't even know why I took them off. Did I put the right title? I don't know how to. Oh, hang on. I know no one's gonna like reply to it, but okay. Fixed it. I should have like my microphone. Okay. My poor dad would say, I'm not interested in money, or money doesn't matter. My rich dad always said, money is power. Power. The power of our thoughts may never be measured or appreciated, but it became obvious to me as a young boy that it was important to be aware of my thoughts and how I expressed myself. I noticed that my poor dad was poor, not because of the amount of money he earned, which was significant, but because his thoughts and actions. As a young boy having two fathers, I became acutely aware of being careful about which thoughts I choose to adopt as my own. Should I listen to my rich dad or my poor dad? So, small discussion. I'm listening to the rich dad. I mean, like, he's making sense. He's making so much sense. Like, he's like, you have to be internally happy. You have to, you know, like, but at the same time, you don't want to just be like out blowing everything and just being like, oh, it's because I'm like, you know, I don't know. I guess we're going to figure it out throughout the book. Although both men had tremendous respect for education and learning, they disagreed about what they thought was important to learn. One wanted me to study hard, earn a degree, and get a good job to earn money. He wanted me to study to become a professional, an attorney, just a professional, anything, an attorney or an accountant, and go to business school for my MBA. The other encouraged me to study to be rich, to understand how money works, and to learn how to save, to have it work for me. I don't work for money, were the words that he would repeat over and over. Money works for me. At the age of 9, I decided to listen. I decided to listen to and learn from my rich dad about money. In doing so, I chose not to listen to my poor dad, even though he was the one with all the college degrees. Okay, we're almost done. We're almost done. Oh, bear with me here. We're almost done. It's a lesson from Robert Frost. I don't know if you guys know who Robert Frost is. He's a G. He's a poet. Robert Frost is my favorite, poet. Although I love many of his poems, my favorite is The Road Not Taken. I use it as a lesson almost daily. The Road Not Taken. 2 roads diverged in a yellow wood. And sorry, I cannot travel both. And be one traveler long I stood, and looked down one as far as I could, to where it bent in the undergrowth, then took the other as just as fair, and having perhaps the better claim, because it was grassy and wanted wear. Though as for that, the passing there had worn them really about the same, and both that morning equally lay, and leaves no step had trodden black. I'm scared someone's gonna see me. I don't think it matters. Oh, I kept the first for another day. Yet knowing how way leads on to way, I doubted if I should write more poems because I am just struggling. I doubted if I should ever come back. I shall be telling this with a sigh, somewhere ages hence. 2 roads diverged in a wood, and I took the one less traveled by. And that has made all the difference. Okay. I'm gonna finish this last page, and then we're gonna have a little discussion. It's up to y'all if you wanna have a discussion. Oh, it feels so good. That's what bookmarks are for. I'm kidding. I know that's not a continuance of this. Oh, okay. And that has made all the difference. Over the years, I have often reflected upon Robert Frost's poem. Choosing not to listen to my highly educated dad's advice and attitude about money was a painful decision. But it was a decision that shaped the rest of my life. Once I made up my mind about whom to listen to, my education about money began. My rich dad taught me over a period of 30 years until I was 39 years old. He stopped once he realized that I knew and fully understood what he had been trying to drum into my often thick skull. Money is one form of power, but what is more powerful is financial education. Money comes and goes, but if you have the education about how money works, you gain power over it and can begin building wealth. The reason positive thinking alone does not work is because most people went to school and never learned how money works. So they spend their lives working for money. Because I was only 9 years old when I started the lessons, my rich dad taught me were simple. And when it was all said and done, there were only 6 main lessons repeated over the 30 years. This book is about those 6 lessons put as simply as possible, just as simply as my rich dad put forth those lessons to me. The lessons are meant to be not to be answers, but guideposts that will assist you and your children to grow wealthier no matter what happens in a world of increasing change and uncertainty. So that was the introduction. Now what we're gonna do, what would be, no, I was scared of the bug that was crawling on me. So we're on to lesson 1. Lesson 1, the rich don't work for money. We already knew that. Ouch. Oh my fucking gosh. I hurt my back so bad. Okay. Just give me 1 second, y'all. That was a long intro, but just give me one lousy second. Just give me, bear with me here. Oh. So what are you? What the fuck? Fuck me. You know what? Whatever. Damn, that just pissed me off. How many pages is this first lesson? So I ain't reading all the pages, because I'm just mad now. Holy shit. I'm not reading the whole entire... This lesson's long. It's a long lesson plan, sir. I'm not reading the whole thing right now, but we are going to start it. Lesson 1. The rich don't work for money. The poor and the middle class work for money. The rich have money work for them. Dad, can you tell me how to get rich? My dad put down the evening paper. Why do you want to get rich, son? Because today Jimmy's mom drove up in their new Cadillac and they were going to their beach house for the weekend. He took 3 of his friends, but Mike and I weren't invited. They told us we weren't invited because we were poor kids. They did? My dad asked. Yeah, they did, I replied in a more hurt tone. My dad silently shook his head, pushed his glasses up, and went back to read the paper. Aww. Huh? Nothing. It's not important. But, oh, that's so messed up. See, that's why he didn't listen to you. But anyway, I just stood there waiting for an answer. The year was 1956. Woo! See, I don't know if these rules would help or apply today. Because that... I mean, I guess the lesson is still there. But, I mean, it costs... Like, what? How much for, like, a 1-bedroom house anymore? But that's besides the point. I was 9 years old. By some twist of fate, I attended the same public school where the rich people sent their kids. We were primarily a sugar plantation town. The managers of the plantation and the other affluent people, such as doctors, business owners, and bankers, sent their children to this elementary school. After grade 6, their children were generally sent off, to private schools. Because my family lived on one side of the street, I went to this school. Had I lived on the other side of the street, I would have gone to a different school with kids from families more like mine. After grade 6, these kids and I would go on to the public, intermediate, and high. Just say public. Just say public schools. Like, that's probably why I'm dumb. Yeah. Yeah. There was no private school for me, and that's okay, okay? That's okay if you went to a public school. Let me tell you why. They're just paying more for just extras. They're like, they don't even get taught anything else. They don't get more lessons on, like, you know, how to work money, or actually how to make money work for you, or anything like that. They just get nice playgrounds, uniforms, more badass kids. Like, don't feel bad. Because I hate that. Okay. My dad finally put down the paper. I could tell he was thinking. Well, son, he began slowly. If you want to be rich, you have to learn to make money. How do I make money? I asked. Well, use your head, son, he said, smiling. Even then, I knew that really meant that that's all I'm going to tell you. Or I don't know the answer, so don't embarrass me. The title is A Partnership is Formed. Sorry, I gotta put that down. The next morning, I told my best friend, Mike, what my dad had said. As best as I could tell, Mike and I were the only poor kids in this school. That is shitty. I'm gonna just say that part now. That's kind of shitty. Because you know they were treating them like shit. Kids are cruel. They are cruel. You thought kids were cruel before? Some of the conversations I hear them have now, I'm like, oh my heavens! People, cyberbullying was a thing before. Oh God, I'm so glad I'm out of school. Mike was also in this school by a twist of fate. Someone had drawn a jog in the line for, that's weird, for the school district, and we wound up in the school with the rich kids. We weren't really poor, but we felt as if we were, because all the other boys had new baseball gloves, new bicycles, new everything. And that's all I'm trying to get at, is that, like, they just have new stuff. Like, nothing more, nothing less. Oh, actually, something more. Mom and Dad provided us with the basics, like food, shelter, and clothes. But that was about it. My dad used to say, if you want something, work for it. We wanted things, but there was not much work available for 9-year-old boys. So what do we do to make money? Mike said. I don't know, I said. Listen, I wish I was in that conversation with you and Mike, because right away, lemonade stand, selling pencils, because people lose their pencils all the time, selling erasers, selling like, little things like that came to my mind, but that's just me. But do you want to be my partner? He agreed. Oh, that's why the title. I know there's not an ant on me again. Get. That's why the title said A Partnership is Formed. But he agreed. And so on that Saturday morning, Mike became my first business partner. We spent all morning coming up with ideas on how to make money. Occasionally, we talked about all the cool guys at Jimmy's beach house having fun. It hurt a little, but that hurt was good because it inspired us to keep thinking of a way to make money. Finally, that afternoon, a bolt of lightning struck. It was an idea Mike got from a science book he had read. Excitedly, we shook hands, and the partnership now had a business. Heck yeah! For the next several weeks, Mike and I ran around our neighborhood, knocking on doors and asking our neighbors if they would save their toothpaste tubes for us. With puzzled looks, most adults consented with a smile. Some of us, some asked us what we were doing, to which we replied, "We can't tell you, it's a business secret." My mom grew distressed as the weeks wore on. We had selected a site next to her washing machine as the place where we would stockpile our raw materials in a brown cardboard box that at one time held bottles. Our little pile of used toothpaste tubes began to grow. Finally, my mom put her foot down. The sight of her neighbor's messy, crumpled, used toothpaste tubes had gotten too far. "What are you boys doing?" she asked. "And I don't want to hear again that it's a business secret. Do something with this mess or I'm going to throw it out." Mike and I pleaded and begged, explaining we would soon have enough of them and we would begin production. We informed her that we were waiting on a couple of neighbors to finish their toothpaste so we can have their tubes. Mom granted us 1 week extension. The date to begin production was moved up and the pressure was on. My first partnership was already being threatened with an eviction notice by my own mom. It became Mike's job to tell the neighbors to quickly use up their toothpaste, saying their dentist wanted them to brush more often anyway. I began to put together the production line. I'm wondering what it is too. I'm curious. One day, I'm very curious. One day, my dad drove up with his friend to see 2 9-year-old boys in the driveway with a production line operating at full speed. There was a fine white powder everywhere, and on a long table were small milk cartons from school. And our family's hibachi grill was glowing with red-hot coals at maximum heat. Dad walked up cautiously, having to park the car at the base of the driveway since the production line blocked the carport. As he and his friend got closer, they saw a steel pot sitting on top of the coals in which... What time is it? Oh, yeah. In which the toothpaste tubes were being melted down. In those days, toothpaste did not come in plastic tubes. The tubes were made of lead. Oh, that's new to me. I didn't know that. They were made of lead. So once the paint was burnt off, the tubes were dropped in a small steel pot. They were melted until they became liquid. Oh, and with my mom's pot holders, we poured the lead into a small hole in the top of the milk cartons, and the milk carton would fill with a plaster of Paris. White powder was everywhere. I'm dead. Holy shit. In my haste, I had knocked the bag over. And the entire area looked like it had been hit by a snowstorm. The milk cartons were the outer containers for the plaster of the Paris molds. I hope I'm saying that right, too. This is the worst place for me to read because, there's just ants everywhere. My dad and his friend watched as we carefully poured the molten lead through a small hole in the top of the plaster of Paris cube. "Careful," my dad said. I nodded without looking up. Finally, once the pouring was through, I put the steel pot down and smiled at my dad. "What are you boys doing?" he asked, with a cautious smile. "We're doing what you told me to do. We're gonna be rich." "Yep," said Mike, grinning and nodding his head. "We're partners." "And what is in those plaster molds?" my dad asked. "Watch," I said. "These should be a good batch." With a small hammer, I tapped at the steel that divided the cube in half. Cautiously, I pulled at the top of the half of the plaster mold, and a nickel fell out. What? "Oh no," my dad explained. "You're casting nickels out of lead?" "That's right," Mike said. "We're doing as you told us to. We're literally making money." My dad's friend turned and burst into laughter. My dad smiled and shook his head along with a fire and a box of spent toothpaste tubes in front of him. Stood 2 little boys covered with white dust, smiling from ear to ear. He asked us to put everything down and sit with him on the front step of our house. With a smile, he gently explained what the word counterfeiting meant. Our dreams were dashed. You mean this is... Did y'all hear that? That sounded like a big bird. Okay. Our dreams were dashed. You mean this is illegal? Asked Mike in a quivering voice. Let them go, my dad's friend said. They might be developing a natural talent. My dad glared at him. Yeah, it is illegal, my dad said gently. But you boys have shown great creativity and original thought. Keep going. I'm really proud of you. Disappointed, Mike and I sat in silence for about 20 minutes before we began cleaning up our mess. The business was over on opening day. Sweeping the powder up, I looked at Mike and said, I guess Jimmy and his friends were right. We're poor. My father was just leaving as I said that. Boys, he said, you're only poor if you give up. The most important thing is that you did something. Most people only talk and dream of getting rich. You've done something. And I'm very proud of the two of you. I will say it again, keep going, don't quit. Mike and I stood there in silence. They were nice words, but we still did not know what to do. So how come you're not rich, Dad? I asked. Man, he would have been salty. Because I chose to be a school teacher. School teachers really don't think about being rich. We just like to teach. Yeah, we just like to teach. I wish I could help you, but I really don't know how to make money. Mike and I turned and continued our cleanup. I know, said my dad. If you boys want to learn how to be rich, don't ask me. Talk to your dad, Mike. My dad? Asked Mike with a scrunched up face. Yeah, your dad, repeated my dad with a smile. Your dad is the same banker, and he raves about your father. He's told me several times that your father is brilliant when it comes to making money. My dad, Mike asked again in disbelief. Then how come we don't have a nice car and a nice house like the rich kids at school? A nice car and a nice house don't necessarily mean you're rich. Or, how to make money, my dad replied. Jimmy's dad works for the sugar plantation. He's not much different from me. He works for a company, and I work for the government. The company buys the car for him. The sugar company is in financial trouble. And Jimmy's dad may soon have nothing. Your dad is different. Mike seems to be building an empire, and I suspect in a few years he will be a very rich man. Very rich. Very rich. Sorry. I think we should stop there. I like this. I wouldn't, it's right here. But I wouldn't mind reading, anymore. So you guys let me know how that was, and have a wonderful, wonderful day.